Module 4, Creating a Healthy Environment for Infants and Toddlers in Early Childhood Settings. This module addresses the impact of environmental health concerns on the health and safety of infants and toddlers in child care. The module is divided to allow completion in 2 separate online sessions. The first session addresses the issues of air quality and mold. The second session addresses the issues of carbon monoxide and lead poisoning, integrated pest management, and childhood poisoning prevention. The sessions should be completed in sequential order for an optimal learning experience. You are presently in Session 1, which will be about 1/2 hour in length. You will need to complete Session 2 at a later time to complete the entire module. The content of this module is based on the 3rd edition of Caring for Our Children, which is the definitive source on best practice in health and safety in early care and education settings. Links to the standards used in the development of the content in this training session are available on the Environmental Health Module page of the Building a Healthy Start website at www.adph.org/healthystart. All of the Caring for Our Children standards are available online at www.nrckids.org. It is important to understand the difference between standards, guidelines, and regulations when discussing best practice in child care. This knowledge will help you better incorporate the information that you receive today into your daily practice. A standard is a statement that defines a goal of practice. It is usually based on scientific evidence. It is stronger than a recommendation or a guideline, but differs from a regulation because compliance is not necessarily required for legal operation. Examples of national standards include Caring for Our Children and the ASTM International Standards for Product Safety, such as their crib safety standards. A guideline is a statement of advice or instruction. A guideline is issued from an organization with acknowledged professional standing and usually comes from a perceived need for such guidance. One example of guidelines is the Choose My Plate campaign from the United States Department of Agriculture, also known as the USDA. A regulation, however, is a standard or guideline that becomes a requirement for legal operation. A regulation comes from an agency with governmental or official authority and is accompanied by enforcement activity. Examples of regulations include the Alabama Department of Human Resources, licensing standards, and the Health Department's food safety regulations. Because creating regulations is a lengthy legal process, regulations, although they still must be followed, may become outdated and no longer represent best practice. Please remember that the content of this module is based on the best practice standards published in Caring for Our Children. These standards may or may not have been adopted as regulations in Alabama. Caregivers should be familiar with state and local care regulations and operate in compliance with such regulations. Let's begin with an overview of environmental health as it relates to the health of young children. Environmental health is the field that studies how substances or other environmental factors have an impact on human health. The early childhood environment includes air, water, surfaces, and items with which infants and toddlers come in contact, either directly or indirectly. For example, the air quality in the nursery can be affected by pollutants in another area of the facility, such as a basement or storage area. Creating a healthy environment, therefore, requires attention to all areas of the program's facility and campus. Be aware that the infant-toddler environment in an early childhood program includes many areas. It includes indoor areas such as the nursery, classrooms, bathrooms, and kitchen. It also includes outdoor areas such as the playground, lawn, and sand and water play areas. As well, the infant-toddler environment includes the vehicles used to transport children and the facility's storage areas such as closets, basements, and garages. Substances and factors that can impact the health and well-being of infants and toddlers include, but are not limited to, dust, dirt and irritants, fragrances and airborne particles, chemicals and toxins, mold, and pests. Each of these factors will be discussed in greater detail later in this training module. Environmental factors can cause, trigger, or exacerbate child health conditions such as asthma, allergic reactions, and respiratory illness. Some environmental factors are toxic, leading to childhood poisoning events. Infants and toddlers are more vulnerable than adults to risk associated with environmental factors. First, anatomically, the body size and surface area of young children increases the risk of injury from exposure to chemicals, molds, toxins, and other substances. Their skin is thinner than adult skin, making it easier to absorb harmful chemicals and toxins. Developmentally, the risk is also greater because infants and toddlers are curious and touch everything, often by mouthing. They put objects in their mouths and also put their mouths on tables, window sills, and other surfaces. Also, young children crawl, sit, and scoot along the floor and ground where chemicals, toxins, and irritants can collect. Infants and toddlers are also vulnerable because their brains, immune systems, and other physiologic functions are developing. They breathe more air for their size compared to adults, and therefore are more likely to be affected by airborne chemicals, molds, and irritants. Let's begin by talking about air quality. The term air quality means the state of the air around us. Air quality in the early childhood environment can be clean and healthy, or it can become unhealthy. Most people are familiar with the term air pollution. Air pollution occurs when the air, whether indoors or outdoors, contains gases, dust, fumes, or odors in amounts that could be harmful to children's health or comfort. These contaminants and irritants, that is, air pollution, impact the air quality of the early childhood environment. Many people think of air pollution only in relation to outside activities. However, indoor air pollution levels are often greater than outdoor air pollution levels. Let's talk about how the indoor air quality can become unhealthy. One way this can happen is that outdoor air pollutants may enter the facility. Exhaust from vehicles or lawn equipment, dust, and pollen can enter the building as people enter and leave the building. Once inside, it may be difficult to remove these pollutants. Newer homes and buildings are often well insulated with airtight seals around doors and windows. If outdoor pollutants enter the building, there may be insufficient air filtration and ventilation to remove them. A third issue regarding indoor air quality is the problem of airborne mold spores. Mold can grow anywhere, and the presence of dirt, contaminants, moisture, and warmth inside the facility can encourage mold growth and release of mold spores. Young children are more vulnerable than adults to airborne contaminants. Infants and toddlers have a high respiratory rate and a larger lung surface area in relation to their body weight. They breathe more air per kilogram of body weight. Also, their lungs, immune system, and brain are immature and rapidly developing. The cell layer lining the inside of the respiratory tract is particularly permeable during this age period and more likely to absorb contaminants. Infants who were born prematurely or with low birth weight may be especially vulnerable. Finally, infants and toddlers are low to the ground. Their crawling and play habits may expose them to pollutants and aerosols that are heavier than air and more concentrated near ground level. Good air quality is essential to the health and well-being of infants and toddlers. Airborne contaminants such as tobacco smoke, dust, fragrance, and chemicals can cause, trigger, or exacerbate asthma and asthma episodes, allergic reactions, and respiratory illness. It is the program's responsibility to create and maintain a healthy air quality in all early childhood environments. Good air quality is created and maintained by avoiding introduction of potentially harmful chemicals, contaminants, and odors. Tobacco products are a primary factor in unhealthy air quality. Secondhand smoke is the smoke and other airborne products released by burning tobacco products, such as cigarettes. Prohibit smoking and all tobacco use not only in the facility, but everywhere on the program's property. Secondhand smoke can enter the indoor environment through doors and windows. Secondhand smoke has a significant impact on the health of young children. Exposure to smoke and residue from tobacco products can lead to asthma, sinus and ear infections, allergies, and respiratory problems. Research shows that smoke exposure also increases the risk of sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS. Further, tobacco smoke is harmful to unborn infants. Pregnant women who smoke or who are exposed to secondhand smoke risk harming their unborn child. Third-hand smoke is the smell, nicotine, and other chemicals that remain on surfaces and in dust after tobacco is smoked. These contaminants can also remain after the use of other tobacco products, such as smokeless tobacco. Tobacco residue can stay on the hair, skin, and clothes of individuals who use tobacco products or who are around tobacco smoke. This residue also collects on furniture, carpets, and other surfaces. The residue and odor can be even more concentrated in small areas, such as in vehicles. Third-hand smoke can linger for months, long after second-hand smoke clears. It is difficult to remove and requires deep cleaning or replacement of items. Fabric refreshers do not remove tobacco residue. Fabric refreshers may mask the tobacco odor but can further pollute the air with additional fragrance. Every tobacco product contains nicotine, odor, and other potentially harmful chemicals. The use of all forms of tobacco should be prohibited in early childhood settings. Remember that tobacco products are also toxic if ingested. Tobacco products such as cigarettes, pipes, snuff, and chewing tobacco must always be out of children's sight and out of children's reach. The prohibition of all smoking and tobacco use in early childhood settings should include all areas, indoors, outdoors, and in vehicles. Be sure to inform parents, volunteers, and visitors of your policy and remind them that it applies to them too. This policy should cover all work hours, including lunch and breaks, from the time staff members arrive until they leave their early childhood environment at the end of the day. Staff members who are smokers or who live with someone who smokes may have smoke odor and residue on their skin and clothing. They can reduce the risk to children by wearing clean tunics over their clothing each day. The tunics should be laundered frequently and kept at the early childhood program in a smoke-free environment. Some people are now using electronic cigarettes, sometimes called e-cigs. These are battery-operated devices that can look, act, and taste like a real tobacco cigarette. E-cigs generally include nicotine, chemicals to vaporize the nicotine, additives, and flavoring. E-cigs consist of a liquid cartridge, a battery, and an LED light. The e-cig heats the liquid, producing vapor that can be inhaled. This process is called vaping. E-cigs can produce substances that worsen indoor air quality and are not safe for use around children. In addition to nicotine, e-cig smoke may contain formaldehyde, metals, and silicate particles. Another danger of e-cigs is childhood poisoning. The nicotine liquid can be ingested, inhaled, or absorbed through the skin and eyes. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, also known as CDC, reported that more than half of the calls to poison control centers due to e-cigs involve young children under age 5 years. The use and storage of e-cigs should be prohibited in and around early childhood settings. One way to reduce airborne contaminants as well as germs is to keep surfaces clean. Floors, walls, and ceilings should be maintained in good repair. Have easy-to-clean flooring, such as vinyl or hardwood, in your facility, and place non-slip rugs at entrances to catch dirt. Carpet and rugs should be clean, non-flammable, and non-toxic. Be sure to clean these rugs regularly. Have smooth, non-porous surfaces in hand-washing, toileting, and diapering areas, and also in food preparation areas. Tile, vinyl, and enamel paint surfaces are easy to clean and maintain. Dust and irritants can accumulate on surfaces such as furniture, shelving, window coverings, floors, and carpets. One way to reduce dust is to eliminate clutter. Be sure to look at all areas of your program's facility, including unnecessary papers and other objects on your desk or work area. Tables, counters, and other surfaces should be cleaned daily. Dust shelving, furniture, and storage units regularly. Clean floors and vacuum carpet and rugs daily. Pay special attention to ceiling fans, light fixtures, and electronic equipment such as television and computers, which attract dust. It is important to use the right cleaning tools to remove dirt, oils, and germs. Microfiber cloths clean very effectively and are reusable. Use dry or lightly moistened microfiber cloths to pick up dust and dirt. For deeper cleaning, microfiber cloths require less detergent. Remember to launder microfiber cloths only with other microfiber cloths and without bleach or fabric softener. Surfaces can also be cleaned with disposable wipes. However, do not use sponges because they can provide a breeding ground for germs. It is best to use a vacuum with HEPA filter to clean floors and carpet. Remember to clean under and behind furniture. When you vacuum upholstered furniture, be sure to go under the cushions. Always use the least toxic cleaning and sanitizing products. Read the label carefully to familiarize yourself with the product. A good rule of thumb is to look for products that contain the fewest ingredients. Choose products that are labeled fragrance-free and which do not have a strong chemical smell. You can also look for products that are labeled dye-free. Avoid using pressurized spray products that release irritants into the air. Non-aerosol products are safest around infants and toddlers. If pump spray bottles are necessary, use them only when children are not present. Remember, the smell of clean is no smell at all. When selecting cleaning products, read the product label for warnings. Avoid using products with danger on the label. Danger means the product is highly toxic if eaten, absorbed through the skin, splashed in eyes, or inhaled. Improper use could cause illness, injury, or even death. Danger is also used on products that could explode if exposed to heat. Products labeled warning are less hazardous, but could cause illness or injury, or could easily catch on fire if improperly used. The term caution is used on less harmful products. However, remember that any product could irritate skin and eyes and cause illness if inhaled. It is very important to use and store products according to manufacturer's instructions. Be sure you understand how to safely use your cleaning products. Some products are labeled with independent third-party certification. This certification means they have been tested for safety and for the effects of the product on human health, wildlife, and the environment. Look for products that have been certified by Green Seal, Ecologo, and the Environmental Protection Agency's Design for the Environment. Remember, the words natural, non-toxic, and green are not regulated and do not assure product safety. As mentioned earlier, the smell of clean is no smell at all. Something that smells good to you can cause health issues for infants and toddlers. Avoid using air fresheners, room sprays, plug-ins, candles, potpourri, odor eliminators, and other scented products. These products do not remove odors. Instead, they mask odors with another fragrance and lower the quality of air. Likewise, powder or spray cleaners and fresheners on rugs, upholstered furniture, and curtains add fragrance and particles that can trigger health problems. Keeping surfaces clean is the best way to reduce odors. For example, household products like hydrogen peroxide, baking soda, or white vinegar can clean surfaces without adding fragrance. Infants and toddlers enjoy being held and cuddled by their caregivers, but fragrances from perfume, cologne, lotion, and other personal body products can trigger health issues. It is best practice to avoid using scented products when coming to work. Even fragrance on clothing from scented laundry products can cause problems. If you use scented laundry products on your clothing, then wear a clean tunic to cover your clothing. Be sure to launder the tunics with dye-free and fragrance-free laundry detergent. If fabric softener is used, choose dry-free and fragrance-free products. Or you can add a half a cup of white distilled vinegar to the laundry rinse cycle to remove chemicals and soften clothes without added fragrance. Some household products and furnishings can emit strong odors. For example, new foam floor matting may have a strong chemical smell. Before using it in your classroom or nursery area, air it outside or in a room away from children until the odor is gone. New furniture made of pressed wood, plywood, and particle board may contain formaldehyde or other volatile organic compounds, often called VOCs. You may not smell these chemicals, but VOCs become a gas at room temperature and release into the air. Furniture may release gas for up to 5 years. When selecting furniture, purchase furniture that is over 5 years old, or choose furniture made of solid wood, glass, metal, or chrome. Paint products also have chemical odors. When painting, use products labeled low VOC, no VOC, or odorless. It is best practice to avoid spray painting and use the paintbrush instead. After painting, allow 24 hours of good ventilation before allowing children in the area. Building ventilation is the circulation of air throughout a structure. Adequate ventilation helps remove formaldehyde and other chemicals. Many newer buildings have greatly reduced airflow because of insulation and tightly sealed doors and windows. Increase ventilation naturally by occasionally opening screened windows and using fans when children are not present. When the weather permits, consider opening windows and using fans for a few minutes before the children arrive or after they leave. If windows are open when children are present, the windows must have screens and barriers to prevent falls, and the outside air quality index should be good. Building ventilation is also accomplished through the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, or HVAC system. HVAC systems include all the equipment used to ventilate, heat, and cool the building, ductwork to move air around the building, and filters to clean the air. Improper use and maintenance of HVAC systems can affect indoor environmental quality. Air filters can become damp, leading to mold growth and odors. Mold can also grow in stagnant waters in drain pans and in moisture inside air ducts and cooling coils. Ensure that your HVAC system is properly maintained and meets legal standards. The HVAC system needs to be checked at least annually by a licensed professional. Use high-efficiency filters in the HVAC system and look for filters labeled True HEPA. Check filters monthly and clean or replace filters as recommended by the manufacturer. Most filters should be replaced every 1 to 3 months. Most allergens and irritants are located on surfaces rather than in the air. Air cleaners may or may not reduce allergens and irritants. Room air cleaners may be recommended for people with allergies and asthma, but are not a solution for good air quality. There are no national standards on air cleaner performance, so it is important to choose wisely when purchasing. If purchasing an air cleaner, ask questions such as, what substances will the cleaner remove? What is the efficiency rating compared to the True HEPA standard? Will it clean the air in rooms with the square footage found in your facility? Are filters easy to change? Are filters readily available and affordable? How much noise does it make? Avoid using air cleaners that produce ozone because it is a known irritant of the lungs and respiratory system. The Air Quality Index is the system used to warn the public when air pollution is dangerous. Keep track of the Air Quality Index in your area and take steps to protect children and yourself. The Air Quality Index is often presented through a color-coded warning system. Green, or good, means the air quality is considered satisfactory. The air poses little or no health risk. Yellow, or moderate air quality, is also acceptable. Orange means the air is unhealthy for sensitive groups, including infants and toddlers. Children, active adults, and people with respiratory disease should limit prolonged outdoor exertion. Red means the air is unhealthy. Children, active adults, and people with respiratory disease should avoid prolonged outdoor exertion. When the air quality is red, infants and toddlers should not be outdoors except when necessary. Air Quality Index forecasts may be included in your local weather forecast, provided through various media such as television, radio, and newspapers. You can also access local Air Quality Index forecast online at www.airnow.gov or at www.enviroflash.info. If the air quality index is code orange or above, then limit outside activities and keep windows closed. Outdoor air quality can be affected by both natural and man-made products and activities. Cars, trucks, and buses can release chemicals that may be harmful in gasoline and diesel exhaust. Early childhood programs are at higher risk if they are located near major roadways or heavy bus traffic. You can also reduce vehicle air pollution by adopting a no idling policy. This means that all vehicles must be turned off when parked near the early childhood facility. There are many factors that affect outdoor air quality. Air quality can vary seasonally due to dust and pollen. For example, in the southern states we have springtime pollen from pine trees and blooming trees. In late summer, ragweed pollen can trigger health problems for many people. Wildfire and other fire incidents can produce harmful smoke and irritants. Factories, power plants, smelters, and other industrial sites may release particles and irritants. In more rural areas, farming activities may produce airborne irritants including fertilizers, weed killers, and insecticides. Remember, good indoor and outdoor air quality is important to the health and well-being of infants and toddlers. Your efforts to improve air quality will be beneficial to them and better for you too. Another environmental issue that can impact the health of young children is mold. In nature, molds, also known as fungi, help break down dead materials that can be found growing on soil, food, plant matter, and other items. Molds produce microscopic cells called spores that spread easily through the air. Tiny particles of molds are naturally present in indoor and outdoor air. Live spores form new mold growths when they find the right conditions. Indoors, molds can grow on any organic substance, such as wood, paper, carpet, foods, and insulation. If mold is permitted to grow and multiply indoors, building materials, goods, and furnishings may be damaged. People are exposed to mold by breathing spores or other tiny fragments. People can also be exposed through skin contact with mold contaminants and by swallowing them. All molds have the potential to affect human health. Infants and toddlers are more likely to be affected sooner and more severely than are adults. Molds produce allergens, irritants, and in some cases, toxins that may cause reactions in humans. The nature and severity of symptoms depend, in part, on the types of mold present, the extent of an individual's exposure, the age of the individual, and existing sensitivities or allergies. Allergic reactions to mold are common. These reactions can be immediate or delayed. Mold can trigger a variety of health problems, including headaches, cough, wheezing, and breathing difficulties, runny nose, sinus congestion, and upper respiratory infection, skin irritation, eye irritation, and aggravated asthma symptoms. Mold often appears as discoloration, staining, or fuzzy growth on the surface of building materials or furnishings. Visible mold growth may appear cottony, velvety, granular, or leathery. Mold may have varied colors of white, gray, brown, black, yellow, or green. To control mold, it is important to search areas with noticeable mold odors. Look for signs of excess moisture or water damage. You should search behind and underneath furniture and stored items, especially items placed near outside walls or on cold floors. Other places to look include underneath carpet and carpet padding, wallpaper, vinyl flooring, and sink cabinets. It is impossible to eliminate all molds and mold spores in the indoor environment. Controlling excess moisture is the key to preventing and stopping indoor mold growth. To control excess moisture, remove standing water. Check appliances such as hot water heaters and refrigerators which have overflow trays. Unused appliances such as dishwashers and washing machines should be removed. Remember to fix leaks promptly, including faucets, and use ventilation fans in kitchen and bathroom areas. If carpets or rugs are steam cleaned or shampooed, be sure they dry completely. Consider removing carpet if it has been wet longer than 48 hours. Additional ways to control moisture include laundering wet towels and items daily, cleaning hand washing and toileting areas daily, and cleaning up spills immediately. Moisture that starts outdoors can create mold and mildew issues indoors. To keep your facility dry, eliminate standing water and ensure that rain and groundwater flow away from the building. Remember to remove items around the facility and its campus that could hold water, such as tires and buckets. Additionally, check plumbing and water lines entering the building to make sure there are no leaks. These simple measures to control moisture can reduce or eliminate mold problems and help create a healthy environment for the infants and toddlers in your care. Be sure to review the handout, Environmental Health Resources for Early Childhood Settings, which will provide you with online information to assist you with your program's environmental health activities. This concludes Session 1 of Creating a Healthy Environment for Infants and Toddlers in Early Childhood Settings. In order to finish Module 4, be sure to complete the second session on carbon monoxide and lead poisoning, integrated pest management, and childhood poisoning prevention. Thank you for your participation in this training session. The training module team may follow up with you in 2 months to see how you have used this information. A short post-training survey may be sent to you at the email address you provided during registration.